rather ensure that I learn these historical values that I've learned from you, and I can then examine it for myself. And then once I assume that responsibility, then I then turn around and share and have that responsibility to pass it on and pass it down. Because my son, I didn't know anything about Juneteenth until I got here. When my son came to me at 15, he didn't get anything about Juneteenth until I taught him. He got here, but he didn't have to learn Juneteenth. I had assumed the information from you, then I passed it on to my son. Now, my son is going to, in turn, pass that on to his children because it's taught. But there are things that are learned behaviors that are not taught. Because when you don't put yourselves in rooms where the information is flowing, then you subtract yourself from the flow of information.
Yes. Wow, man. Hello. Great Sunday morning. It is your boy, that's right, the community facilitator, the cultural enthusiast, Dr. Rodney Duckett, and I'm back with another smashing show, as they say in England. This is a wonderful show here because this show is all about us. It's all about the lively art of conversation, where we live, we learn, we earn. My goodness, we're going to pass it along. This show would not be a show without my underwriters. And at this time, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge my underwriters. We'll be right back.
This is Lavina Sabri with So Natural Catering and Bomb A Lemonade, and you're listening to The Lively Art of Conversation.
Hello. This is Rodney Duckett with The Lively Art of Conversation. As we live, we learn, we earn, and we pass that wisdom along. Join us every Sunday from 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. as we bring to you our story. You bring your story, we give you our story, and our story is how we engage in our community. Everybody has a story, and we're waiting to hear your story. So if you're interested, reach out to us at livelyartofconversation@gmail.com.
Looking to elevate your brand or capture unforgettable moments? New Image Media offers top-tier videography, photography, personal branding, and more. They combine creativity and quality with fair pricing and friendly service so you get the results you want. Whether it's a business promo or special occasion, they bring your vision to life with quality you can trust. Choose New Image Media, where your image is everything. For more info, email media@newimagemiallc.com. Words have power. They connect, heal, and inspire. That's the mission at Better Watch Your Tone, LLC, founded by Toni B. Shelton. She's empowering through powerful poetry and prose, with hundreds impacted through speaking events, workshops, and 8 self-published books. Ready to honor the story within? Discover books and coaching at betterwatchyourtone.com. For event poetry or book writing support, email ToniShelton@gmail.com. Let's use our words to uplift. Better watch your tone. You've built a life worth celebrating. Now it's time to be seen. At Las Foto de Lance Photography, they don't just take portraits, they capture the fire in your spirit and the power in your presence. Whether you're reclaiming your confidence, owning your story, or stepping into a new chapter, Las Foto de Lance Photography creates luxury images that reflect the real you. Visit lasfotodelance.net or drop by their Harker Heights studio. Las Foto de Lance Photography, unapologetically you, immortalized.
Hello, this is Dr. Rodney Duckett with the Heritage Legacy Curators. You're looking for something for your kids to do this summer? Well, reach out to me at Impact Outreach, IMPAC Outreach @gmail.com, because Heritage Legacy Curators is all about collecting oral history. So if you have stories that you would love to pass down to your kids, or if you have a project that maybe your kids need to do as it relates to oral history, bring those family albums out and we'll sit there and we'll sort through those family albums, so that way we can collect those stories and keep those stories within the family, so that way they can be the next speakers to curate your family reunion. We're back with the lively art of conversation, where we live, we learn, we earn, and we pass it along. We got a wonderful show here for you. But like I do every week, we always start off with the quote. The quote. And the word I want you guys to take. This is the word. I want you to take this word and put it in your journal. It's called emancipation. It's a big word. But what does this word actually mean? And what is the relevance with this word with the month that we know as June for us? So think about this quote, celebrating freedom and heritage. The 4th of July is yours, not mine. We may rejoice, I must mourn. Frederick Douglass. Juneteenth is ours. So I want you guys to think about what Juneteenth means. What did Frederick Douglass mean with that quote, and why Juneteenth is very, very prominent right here in the southern part, especially here in Texas. Here's your thought-provoking question that I want you to write down. How does understanding our history, both the triumphs, the struggles, how did it shape our understanding of freedom and equality today? Think about that for a minute. We don't realize that we're technically about 140, 50 years, depending on where you come from, that we've been free. That is about a generation, possibly 2, away from us being in bondage. And Juneteenth is coming upon us. And with that being said, I got a guess for you here today. Now, I've been knowing this guy. Let me set the record straight, okay? Everybody thinks they know this guy that I'm about ready to talk about. But I am going to state claims, and he's right here, and he can acknowledge it. I was the first person that he met in this area that was doing something. Straight up. So for you guys that may not realize this, Ronnie Russell was one of the mentors that I had coming into the juvenile detention center working with the kids. And I love Ronnie because Ronnie stayed committed, and Ronnie made a promise when he came back from deployment that he will also be back to talk to the kids and work with the kids. And that's the one thing that meant a lot, because 2 of those kids were there, and 2 of those kids held him to that promise. And when he actually came back, it showed them what manhood was all about keeping your word. And he has kept his word, and he has kept his word to the community. So without further ado, everybody knows him as the man all over the state of Texas, the man that is the interconnectedness of how things are moving around the state of Texas. But most importantly, he is an advocator of black businesses and black people here in the state of Texas. And he is housed right out of Bell County. Ladies and gentlemen, your guy, Ronnie Russell, 1 each.
Man, that was a huge like, I stand on your shoulders. You know, like I always say when I see you, I stand on your shoulders. And it's just a blessing to be here, you know, like you were saying, like before there was ever any other activities that I ever done in this city, it started with you. Brand new platoon sergeant, my soldier said, hey, I want to introduce you to this guy. Because I was trying to find things for them to get into the community. And that in 2013 was my introduction to you. Then when I deployed and came back in 2014, that's when I came back. So I will always stand on your shoulders.
Oh, man, come on. We stand on each other's shoulders. It's kind of weird, though. Like the Three Stooges. But no, I do appreciate that, Ronnie. I really do, because a lot of times when people speak, they don't know the history behind people. So people may say something and I'll be like, yeah, I already know Ronnie, you know, or vice versa with you. They already know Rodney, but there's a history, and, you know, and the history started with us having a connection outside that connected us. And if I haven't never told you, I tell you now, and I'm proud of everything that you've done. The one thing that I can honestly say about you, you do it for the people.
Yeah.
And again, I know just as well as you know, if you was to take this anywhere else, you'll probably be a billionaire by now.
Man, what?
Come on, man. I'm serious. Sometimes the work we do, people don't realize that a prophet is never revered in his own home. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You're never praised for the things you do. But I've made so much money leaving outside of my community where people value me more. So again, when I say that I do it because I love the people, I actually do it because I love the people and I want the people to grow. Right. And I know you do it because you can make money outside of this.
100%.
Yes, but sometimes when, you know, you have these words called black you get stifled. Oh my God, we can't use that word. What word you want us to use? Sandpaper? I don't know, but it is what it is. Everybody tells you to fix your own problems, but then when you find someone to fix your own problems, it's like, oh no, he can't fix your problems.
Too much.
Doing too much. But Ronnie, let's deep dive here. Let's have a flashpoint moment.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about the Ronnie we don't know. I know the story, but let's talk about that young man that wasn't in the military that had to make some real life decisions.
Wasn't in the military?
Yeah, wasn't in the military. I'm talking about the one that grew up.
Pre or post?
I'm talking about pre. Yeah, I'm sorry,
Okay.
Mr. Retiree. The pre, the little Ronnie. I'm not gonna tell you a story because I know it, but the little Ronnie that was making decisions in the commissary.
Yeah. Oh man, you went too far.
Yeah, I did.
Man, that is beyond all levels of disrespect. So I'm gonna tell you the story that he wants me to open up this wound, but I've been healed. So here I was a dependent, and if you ever been to Fort Bragg back in the day, the commissary was right across the street from the PX, and I wouldn't say I was frugal back then. I was stingy, but I was stingy the wrong way. I just worked the commissary. I done bagged a bunch of groceries, so I had a lot of money still on my person. My stupid tail, I walked across the street and went to the PX. I'm walking around. I'm looking at, I like cologne to this day still. I walk around. I look at this cologne bottle, blame it on my grandfather, and I put the cologne bottle in my pocket. So again, one pocket full of money, because I done had some pretty good tips that day. Other pocket, can't get right. The cologne. And I'm leaving and I'm walking out, and the undercover cop said, hey, excuse me, could you come back with me? And we go to the back. He said, do you have anything in your pocket that you're not supposed to have? I said, no, I done made some tips today. They're mine. He said, sir, we already have it on tape. It's like one of those things like when your woman say, when she bring it up, she already know about it type of deal. So, and he said, I'm about to press play, and let me know if this is you or not. And I stole cologne, not because I couldn't afford it, is because I didn't want to pay for it. And I was 17, like in Cumberland County at the time. If you're 18, you're going to jail.
Yes.
And I was 17. I just made 17 because I'm an April baby. I just made 17, and my mom came down and picked me up. And the guy said, it looks like you will get a much worse situation by us sending you home. So we're going to let your mom come get you. My mom's like, she said, you have done one of the most stupidest things I ever seen. You just got paid. First of all, what you doing in the PX? Because I dropped you off at the commissary. What are you doing in the PX? And that stuck with me for a long time. I'm 48. I'm 49. And I'm still bringing this story up. So did this joker right here to my left. He's bringing it up because that's one of the things that I will never forget it. Yeah. But I will always value the who that you are. And I didn't value myself. Yeah. Because I thought the invaluable things that my parents taught me, those are intangibles. Those things that were always taught in the home, I didn't pay attention to it, and I pay attention to it now. So thank you for peeling the scab that I done healed. I'm crushed.
And I say that story because that's a story that you told in the juvenile detention center. And I'll give you a little. Me and you share the same story. Because I made that decision at, I think, 9 or 10 years old to take something I shouldn't took from the store, and to get called and to walk down the same aisle my mother and my sister was on was the walk of shame. And I think, and I know people don't like to use this terminology, but I think I got beat for like a year. It's like my mom beat me, and then my mom was the worst. My mom was the worst. She beat me, but then she told me, you broke my heart. And why would a mom tell a little boy that you broke heart? So that just set the stage.
Yeah.
Then my dad came in and done physicality.
Finish him.
I was like, I'm telling you, guys, it made the man that I am today. So, and then my grandmother got a little piece of it.
Oh,
then my
man.
granddaddy, then my aunts, and everybody was warming me up. It was like a year into this thing, and I don't even know why I'm getting whooped anymore. But I say that because at the time it wasn't funny. But now it made the man where I am to make me understand that you earn your keep.
Yeah.
Like, just earn your keep. If you can't afford to save up for it, it's just not meant for you.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you sharing that story because that story sets the stage of the man that you are. And I say that. Now, let's talk about Ronnie going into the military.
Okay.
Let's talk about Ronnie. This is something that I know you're most proud of, your service. And number one, thank you for your service because you've got an interesting track record, So infantryman, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, infantryman, drill sergeant, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then how many deployments? 4?
3.
3. Okay, and then you retired. So
Yes.
let's talk about that journey of you being in the military.
The journey was 100% beneficial.
Yes.
I had a great record, no Article 15s, none of that stuff, no bad counseling. But what it did was it allowed me to learn who I am through the eyes of the leaders that I was attached to. I've been blessed to have, now just me being transparent, I've been blessed to have great Black NCOs.
Wow.
My first platoon sergeant was a Black guy. Mm-hmm. Not that, white people won't be great platoon sergeants, but I've had other platoon sergeants and squad leaders that didn't look like me, and they treated me different. And I will always remember Corporal Renshaw. Corporal Renshaw treated me like crap, but my battle buddy next to me, I went to basic with him, I used to go over to his track and learn what it was to be an 11 Charlie. Because Corporal Renshaw was like, the only thing I'm good for is sweeping the motor pool. But I'm looking at my battle buddy like, hey, how do you do that? How do you read a map? And I'm learning from him, but I'm only good for sweeping the motor pool. I'm only good for checking the engine oil and the differentials and cleaning out the track and setting the track up by myself. But what it did was it taught me to be 100% self-sufficient and to be able to sustain myself even without, in the absence of orders, as they say. So my stuff is through experience, not in separation or segregation between people, but I'm looking at it as, because it wasn't just him. Like, even after Corporal Renshaw left, I had another one come in. I'm sitting there like, what in the world? Like, is there something about me that's making them not want to train me, but I'm always getting it from Sergeant Garcia next to me? Sergeant Garcia taught me so much. He taught me, and he taught my battle buddy, and I've learned so much from a lot of other people that it allowed me to be the great leader that I was, because I always told my soldiers, I said, don't be my Corporal Renshaw to your soldiers. And I used to always pull that in and tell my NCOs during sergeant's time, don't be a Corporal Renshaw, because I know what it felt like when you don't pay attention to your soldiers, when your soldiers know that they're not getting anything from you. So I always instill that, train the soldier as men, and the men will be great as soldiers. Ooh. Because a lot of times they'll go home and they will be trash at home, but then they come in uniform and they try to be stellar. I said, no, I said, something's not right. Like, I want to train you to go home and be able to communicate with your spouse and communicate with your kids. So when I'm communicating with you, I know you're listening because you've learned how to communicate. And it was just a blessing. And being a drill sergeant was the best thing that I've ever done, because I was able to take and mold civilians into soldiers. And then coming out of being a drill sergeant, going to Hawaii, learning how, not just the cultural side, but also the international side, because I've been to Bangladesh, Thailand, Australia, of course Japan, of course Korea, China, pre-tariffs, not just playing, China, and it's just been a blessing to see all of these places to mold the who that I am, because I'm able to be in so many different spaces and still be able to maintain on my square, as they would say, to maintain and to be okay with being okay. Yeah. And it just a lot, and even in the civilian sector now, like I can be at the city hall, I can be down at the Capitol, I can be here in Temple, I can be in Dallas, and all these places that I did with Texas Black Pages. A lot of time, your leadership comes from how you were when you were led. And because I learned before you're a leader, you have to understand that you might need to be led. And as I learned down the path, the journey is what we all do. But I always know that sometimes our destinations are different.
Definitely, man. Hey, man, there's some nuggets right there. Like, straight up, those are some nuggets. And this is a lively art of the conversation. I'm telling you, this is a conversation to be had, because you never know someone's journey. And the reason why I had to dig up a little bit of your past, so everybody can see the evolution of the man that's in front of us right now. I would say I'm lucky enough to hear the story, you know, and a lot of times Ronnie probably doesn't say the story, but you're hearing it right now. You're hearing it right now. Now let's talk about, we got the military side, you know, but there was some things that was happening in the military. You started in Hawaii and with the magazine with Ink, right?
808 Ink.
Yes. So let's talk about that, and then talk about your transition into Texas Black Pages.
Oh, man. 808 Ink was Hawaii's very first tattoo magazine. For as long as Hawaii has been doing tattoos and the history of tattoos, which they call tatau, because tatau came from the sound. When you hear it, tau, 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 and they converted it into tattoo. Westernized, they called it tattoo. But in Polynesia, they call it tatau, or in Tongan, they call it tata'au. I had to learn all of that.
Oh, wow. Look at that. What's up, Samoans?
And it's like it was waiting for me to create, because I'm like, when I joined the Army, I joined to get away from Hawaii. 15 years later, I come back to Hawaii, to the same place I joined to get away from, but it gave me the best opportunity to be a student, because before I launched the tattoo magazine, I had to be a student to the history of tattoo and the culture of tattooing without me actually tattooing itself.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And like, you got to go through a rites of passage. Like, I'm not going to get that if I was anywhere else.
Yeah.
So like on my leg, I have a traditional tattoo used by the tools. And starting all of that allowed me to learn from so many different people. And then once because I was supposed to stay in Hawaii, you know, I hit 20 in Hawaii, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna stay here. My home record is here. I'm not going anywhere. And then I got orders to come to Texas, because I wasn't supposed to come to Texas. There was nothing on my wish list that started with a T. Not even in the middle of any words that had a T in it. And then I come here to Texas because I had to let go. And I'm not going to go through the whole story because it's long. Yeah, definitely. But I had to let go, and I had to get out of my way, because I called my mom. I was upset. I'll say this real quick. I got placed on orders 3 times before I let go. Literally 3 times. Wow. Everyone that I worked with knew someone that was an NCOIC or OIC or GS-15. My sergeant major was a drill sergeant with the infantry NCOIC. Orders deleted. My full bird went to War College with the OIC of the infantry branch. Orders got deleted. Wow. My GS-15 served with the GS-15 in the civilian sector. Orders got deleted. It was just weird like that. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to Texas. Man, 4th time it came down, I said, Ma, I quit. I give up. Because whatever it is I'm supposed to see is on the other side. Yeah. Because I tried everything humanly possible that I could do through relationships to take myself away from where the journey was taking me, which was here in Texas. And then Texas has been a far exceeding blessing to me since I've been here. And when I launched Texas Black Pages, which Miss Phyllis Jones which I stand on her shoulders real lightly because she's going to fall. I stand on her shoulders because she asked me, she said, well, if you did it in Texas, because in Hawaii, because I had all of the tattoo parlors all under one umbrella under 808, because 808 is the area code. So I had all of the tattoo shops under one umbrella. So I've been enterprising for a long time. And then when I came to Texas, I go to Korea, South Korea. Then I create an app called Pin Around. So I took the peninsula, all areas 1 through 5, and I took all of those, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, under one umbrella, and I created Pin Around in Korea, which was used by all the soldiers. They have it even in processing briefing to use Pin Around. And then Miss Phyllis said, if you done this with these places, she said, can you do it for Texas? I said, well, let me see what I can do. Then Texas Black Pages started.
Wow. This is Dr. Rodney Duckett. I mean, so many nuggets are being dropped today. If you're tuning in, I'm with the one and only Ronnie Russell One Each. I mean, there's only one of these guys that's floating around, and he happens to be here today. We'll be right back after these commercials.
Words have power. They connect, heal, and inspire. That's the mission at Better Watch Your Tone, LLC, founded by Toni B. Shelton. She's empowering through powerful poetry and prose, with hundreds impacted through speaking events, workshops, and 8 self-published books. Ready to honor the story within? Discover books and coaching at betterwatchyourtone.com. For event poetry or book writing support, email TonyShelton@gmail.com. Let's use our words to uplift. Better watch your tone. You've built a life worth celebrating. Now it's time to be seen. At Las Foto de Lance Photography, they don't just take portraits, they capture the fire in your spirit and the power in your presence. Whether you're reclaiming your confidence, owning your story, or stepping into a new chapter, Las Foto de Lance Photography creates luxury images that reflect the real you. Visit lasfotodelance.net or drop by their Harker Heights studio. Las Foto de Lance Photography, unapologetically you, immortalized. Looking to elevate your brand or capture unforgettable moments? New Image Media offers top-tier videography, photography, personal branding, and more. They combine creativity and quality with fair pricing and friendly service so you get the results you want. Whether it's a business promo or special occasion, they bring your vision to life with quality you can trust. Choose New Image Media, where your image is everything. For more info, email media@newimagemiallc.com.
This is Dr. Rodney Duckett with the Heritage Legacy Curators. You're looking for something for your kids to do this summer? Well, reach out to me at Impact Outreach, IMPAC outreach@gmail.com, because Heritage Legacy Curators is all about collecting oral history. So if you have stories that you would love to pass down to your kids, or if you have a project that maybe your kids need to do as it relates to oral history, bring those family albums out and we'll sit there and we'll sort through those family albums, so that way we can collect those stories and keep those stories within the family, so that way they can be the next speakers to curate your family reunion. We're back with the lively art of conversation as we live, we learn, we earn, and we pass it along. And I'm here with Ronnie Russell One Each. We ended on the Texas Black Pages, how he got started. But from the Texas Black Pages, there was an evolution that happened. Tell us about this evolution that happened in the seats that you are sitting in right now.
Oh, man. It's all about enterprise. You know, I've been, again, enterprising with the magazine, with Pin Around, with Texas Black Pages, and now the development of a Chamber of Commerce. That evolution, like you said, there was provision. Texas Black Pages was provision to the chamber, because I wanted nothing to do with chambers. Honestly, Texas Black Pages, I had 6 strategic alliances with, at the time, there were 20 chambers in the state of Texas. Now there's 32 black chambers. I had 6 contractual agreements with 6 of the black chambers, and I didn't want nothing to do with chambers. And here I am now, you know, started a chamber that I wanted nothing to do with. But again, Black Pages was provision to it. So those same relationships carried over. And now to have over 300 businesses, again, that enterprise, that expansion, that, like, I don't say think outside the box because I'm not in the box. I never would restrict or construct a box for me to put my mind in. So thinking from a lateral perspective, having a chamber that didn't have a city designation, it puts you in a box. Like, I can maneuver in a Killeen with a Killeen chamber. I can maneuver in a Temple with a Temple chamber, because if it was the Killeen Black Chamber of Commerce, I can't operate in Temple because my constitution and bylaws restrict me to that area. So to have an Innovation Black Chamber of Commerce, I can maneuver left and right as long as there's no other Black chamber organization. Like, I would never go in Waco and operate. I will partner. I would never go into Greater Austin and operate, but I will partner. But I can maneuver in Kempner. I can maneuver in Hutto. We have members in Hutto. I can maneuver in other places without it. And again, those provisions set the tone for what was created, and the why behind it is because we needed economic vitality, and it's through the hearts and mind of those that want to see the forward progression.
So let me ask the stupid question.
Why Black Chamber?
Yes, number one, why Chamber of Commerce, and why Black Chamber of Commerce? The why.
So why a Chamber of Commerce is because when you look at what a chamber does, and most people say, well, what's the chamber going to do for me? What are you going to do for the community? That's always my response to it, because what a chamber's responsibility is business development, and kind of an incorporation of economic development. But I will say IBCC is more of a hybrid, because we do community development, business development, and economic development, because we see what we need as a people, and we see what we need culturally, because Black is culture. Black is not the color of the skin, but it's the culture.
Yes.
The same thing that Denzel had spoke about.
Yes.
Right.
The hot comb.
Right. The hot comb.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I love, like that Miss Anjanette has said, it's the culture. You have kale, you have collard greens.
Yep.
They're both vegetables. Mm-hmm. They both provide nutrients, but one tend to lean towards one over the next.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong which way that they lean, but as long as you're responsive with what you do. So as a Black chamber, we're culturally responsive and responsible for the things that we need. And then those needs are provided by the actions, because we have to take those actionable objectives. Like if it's time to go and sit with, like when we did the Juneteenth at Bell County, that's culture.
Yeah.
It's culture. And we had to be culturally responsive in that action in order to have Bell County to look at Juneteenth, not just as a word, but as a action through their employees, as the employer. So those actionable objectives, because there was no other chamber that stood left and right with us to talk about Juneteenth, because it's not their culture to do. So we came in because a culture need to be examined and evaluated, and the culture needed the progression to show. So that's why there's a need for a Black Chamber of Commerce, because I don't talk Black dollar no more. I talk Black economics. There's a big difference.
Oh, yes.
Because the dollar is what you make, but economics is where you spend it.
Nuggets. Wow. So culture.
Yeah.
Within a culture embodies everything. Yeah. And this is the one thing that I've been saying to people for years, and they don't understand. When the Taste of Africa is being done, it is the whole culture of us as a people. So if you're a white person to show up, you're part of the culture of Africa, in a sense. It's the culture within the culture. There's language, there's religion, there's all types of different things for us. Food might mean one thing in a different side of the culture as related to the culture itself. I've always said here in America, we practice a subculture, you know, and you, and I think you're saying the same thing that my own philosophy is. I'm trying to bring us to a neoculture, you know, because now we need to evolve from the subculture. We'll never be able to get the culture of Africa again, but transition to a neoculture where we all come together. Man, that's some powerful nuggets. So we're talking about IBCC, and we're talking about Ronnie Russell, and we're talking about that past experience. How has that past, from the young boy that was at the PX to the gentleman that actually joined the military and was benched, you know, in the military, to the polarizing figure we know today? What did you learn? What did you gain?
I learned, and I've said it before. I don't think I've said it to you. I've learned the key to life.
Okay.
And the key to life is in discovery.
Wow.
And when I learned that lesson, like nothing else mattered, because what I discover about you is my truth. What I discover about having knowledge of self is my truth. What I discover about how I can do something better or do something different, that's when I learn. Because the true key to life, I don't care who you talk to, I don't care what pastor, priest, whatever. The key to life is in discovery. We will say, aha moment. I don't want no ahas. I discovered I don't like this. Or I've discovered that I'm great at this. Or I've discovered I'm not so good at this. Like, the key to life is in discovery, because when I understood that there had to be a correction that I had to learn when I was coming out of the commissary, when I walked over to the PX, like, there had to be a correction. Now, it was by way of a belt, but there had to be a correction. And as I evolve as an adult, and as I evolve as a leader, as I evolve as a man, as I evolve as a father, I discovered more about myself. So my evolution is through my discovery.
Wow.
And that's what got me to this point. Because again, remember, I've been enterprising since 808 Inc. I've been enterprising since Pen Around. I've been enterprising since Texas Black Pages. I've been enterprising when the chamber has started. But through my discovery, I learned it's about relationships. Because all of them had relationships. Because there was 120 tattoo parlors in Hawaii. But I had to I would go to each one of them. I even flew in Hop Islands to go and sit in Maui, sit in Kauai, and develop relationships with them. And, you know, when I was doing Texas Black Pages, those who knew me, they were like, oh man, where are you at this weekend? I was physically going to these places in El Paso, in Dallas, in all of these cities, because I knew that through my discovery, relationships were being built.
Okay. All right, I got one for you. And before we transition on the real reason why you're here on the show. Now, I know this personally, but I need you to tell them this.
Oh, Lord.
All right. Since you've been doing this, there's been a lot of mess. There's been a lot of tests.
100%.
There's been a lot of tragedies. There's been a lot of struggles. Yeah. How have you converted those struggles around to a triumph, that test to the testimony, that mess to a message? Like, because I know there's been some letdowns along the way. So what's the secret sauce? How do you flip the script?
Like when they tested Jesus when he was inside a market, he flipped the table.
Okay. I'm listening.
And one of the things that he said was, render to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. So what did that mean to me? And my discovery with that is, there are going to be people that are going to be in settings that you may find yourself mutually in those settings, but render to them in that setting that they're in. Like, I'm not following you. Even if I don't even have to vote for you. But what I'm going to learn is how to, I'm going to say this. I don't burn bridges, but I just know which ones not to cross.
Wow.
So just like when the Juneteenth flag situation had came up, we was going to fly the Juneteenth flag. The city of Killeen voted no. And the very next week, the whole nation said yes. And there were Juneteenth flags flown all over the place. Render to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. That's your vote. That's your dais. It's not mine.
Yeah.
So I'm going to render to you what you say is yours.
Yeah.
Okay. But when you come off the dais, you're going to come see me anyway.
That's powerful. That is powerful, man. This is a lively art of conversation where we live, we learn, we earn. My goodness, we pass it along. We'll be right back.
This is Ronnie Russell with the Innovation Black Chamber of Commerce, and you are listening to The Lively Art of Conversation.
We're back with the lively art of conversation where we live, we earn, we learn. My goodness, we pass along. I'm your host, Dr. Rodney Duckett. It's been a phenomenal show. What he said, render to Caesar's what is Caesar's. Man, I'm still flipping over tables and chairs, man. Radical ride, man. I just had a conversation about this radical ride business. I was like, man, I've never been a part of a protest, a rally, a sit-in. I've never tried to do a coup on the city or nothing like that. But boy, y'all call me radical ride, man. I want to give me a T-shirt that say Rowdy Radical Ride is here. But man, I appreciate you being a part of this show, and I've learned so much about you throughout the years, and I'm still learning because, man, you are not just a book, you're a novel, man. So, but we've got a big event that's coming up by IBCC. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
So it's the our fifth Juneteenth celebration. It used to be a festival, and then we changed the language.
Yes.
Like that's your 2025 and 2026 word language. We changed the language because it's a celebration. Because it's not. We culturally didn't have festivals. Culturally, we had celebrations because it's the relationships of the body of people that come together that we celebrate.
Yes.
So we changed it to the Juneteenth celebration because when you're doing a unification, you have to celebrate the unity with intent. And that's where, it's been going on for 5 years now because we put it in a lot of other places. And then we say, look, this organization is doing a Juneteenth parade. We uprooted the entire, at the time, festival and put it downtown to make sure that we all stayed together. And it became beneficial. So this year, June 21st in downtown Killeen, the unification, because if we can't unify now, not just through words, but through acts and deeds, there are going to be more opportunities for us to reach across the table and to connect and to say, hey, how can I help you? What do you need? What you got going on? The same thing we do personally, like, hey, have you heard about this? Hey, have you heard about that? But now we have a 1 to 2 degree of separation because now we can go to the next table and go to the table to the left and table to the right. And something that has been marinating with me is like, I want a proclamation that day. Nothing coming from no city. There's no city that need to give us a proclamation of our unity. I don't want no proclamation. So not that a city should not be involved.
Agree.
But what if we did come together and created our proclamation to say, if we're ever going to celebrate, let's start today and let's continue this celebration. So every year it should grow, every year it should get bigger, every year it should get better. The proclamations might change because we don't know what the journey is going to be, but our destination is going to be downtown Killeen, June the 21st. If you like the run or you like the walk, whether you walk as an individual, a group, or a family. You can sign up for the Juneteenth 5K. The thing that's different about what we do is it's crowdfunding. Again, just gonna be transparent. When you say, "Oh, we're gonna collect money for Black businesses," 8 times out of 10, you're not gonna get anything. You might get $100 from 10,000 people who gave you pennies.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
I know.
Yeah. But if you, which Carl Webb, he calls it infotainment. Mm-hmm. But if you create an infotainment environment to where you can provide information, you can provide entertainment, you have vendors and runners and stuff, people give to that. So we take that and then we put it into the pot and then we convert that and we put it back out as a Black business grant. We were blessed last year to raise, I think we raised about $17,000. $7,000 went into the expenses because you got to pay for the sound, you got to pay for the people to come down and do the time for the 5K. Minus expenses, $10,000 went into a grant and we gave that out. So it's one of those things like, how can we grow our community? We can grow our community by offering opportunities for everyone to be a part of what the community can do together, which is celebrate.
I love that. And Juneteenth is one of those things that people get very, very confused about. They say it's, why do we do a Juneteenth if everybody was free on July the 4th? We do have people that believe that. And there are people that are Black that feel the same way too. I've run into a lot of people. They think Juneteenth sets us back. What is your thoughts on that?
I don't know what wall they hit, but I think they need to recognize that the wall is there.
Okay.
And that the wall that's there are the ones that they put up themselves.
I like
that. Because there are so many, this is 2025, there's so much technology that are out there, and there's so many books that you can go to.
Yes.
So many books that you can buy or go to a library and learn all of these things, because a lot of times, the things that define us are the things that we can tangibly go and learn. I rather ensure that I learn these historical values that I've learned from you, and I can then examine it for myself. And then once I assume that responsibility, then I then turn around and share and have that responsibility to pass it on and pass it down. Because my son, I didn't know anything about Juneteenth until I got here. When my son came to me at 15, he didn't get anything about Juneteenth until I taught him. He got here, but he didn't have to learn Juneteenth. I had assumed the information from you, then I passed it on to my son. Now, my son is going to, in turn, pass that on to his children because it's taught. But there are things that are learned behaviors that are not taught. Because when you don't put yourselves in rooms where the information is flowing, then you subtract yourself from the flow of information.
Yes. Wow, man. What should we expect at Juneteenth? What should we expect? What's the things that you got going on, the entertainment? I know we got the 5K run. Tell me what else we got going on.
Just a lot of good people just coming together. Like tonight, I got invited to a meeting where the car clubs and the motorcycle clubs, and we're going to talk like, how do we grow each other event, just like the one that you have. The car and bike club, theirs is on the 14th. So the idea and the vision is, let's push to the 14th and let this snowball roll from the 14th, and then yours is on the 18th.
Yeah, Sunset Eve ceremony is going to be on the 18th at Bell County Museum. That's a free event to the public to come out.
Yes, sir. And then from the 18th, and then the Juneteenth kickoff is going to be at the East Center. That's for all organizations, all nonprofits. When you come there, you say, I'm representing Impact Outreach. So, okay, so now we're taking tally, like, okay, the community is now coming out. And then from there, the snowball then rolled to the Juneteenth 5K, which rolls into the parade, which rolls into the celebration. And then at the East Center, which she normally does hers on Sunday, so then it rolls into Sunday. So everyone shares the same opportunity, which is support. If I can be at the 14th, you can be at the 18th. If you can be at the 18th, you can be at the 19th. If you can be at the 19th, you can be at the 21st. Well, let me back up. 20th, because I forgot there's the pageant. When is the pageant?
Pageant's the 13th. Yeah, so
even more.
Yeah,
if you can be at the 13th, you can be at the 14th, 14th, 18th, 18th, 19th, 19th, 20th, 20th, 21st, 21st, 23rd.
Yes. Yep.
So the information need to be disseminated first. And when we disseminate the information, then we forward everyone the same opportunity to support. Because without it, just like your listeners, when they become hearers, then they become doers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most definitely. And I like that concept, how everything is stacked, because when you are doing a celebration, like say for instance, I went to Infinity over in Ethiopia and they celebrated like the whole month. Christmas is celebrated like the whole month over in Ethiopia. It's like crazy, like, because everybody celebrates. If you ever been to Germany and see them win a local soccer regional tournament, they shut down for like 90 days. I mean, like, people forget about work, business and foods are free, and that's just soccer. When it comes to us, we got to be back at work on Monday, so. But I say, please come out. These are wonderful events that are hosted by the community. Miss Ramona Clark, she was just on here. She talked about the Tri-County Juneteenth pageant. And again, that pageant is not just for those young ladies that are, like athletically built or whatever. No, she is building the courage for our young ladies to stand up and be proud of just who they are. The Sunset Eve ceremony is something that I've been doing for years. It's a history-based thing, because a lot of times we think that slaves were working and then all of a sudden someone say, you free now, and then we was just running all over the place. No, people were actually getting ideas and plans together for their family at that time. Ronnie, he does the celebration. It's outdoors, it's fun, there's music, there's entertainment, there's a 5K before that. Miss Carolyn Brown does her event in her venue. It's open to the public. These are like beautiful events that's happening throughout the city, and you guys should really look at being a part of that. It's something for the family to do, and that's the reason why I like it. These are family events. Bring your kids out. Yes, they can jump on the little jumpy houses and stuff, but if you have someone that's their history, let's sit around, let's listen to the history of where we come from, because those stories will be passed down. Ronnie, before I get out of here, you got anything you want to drop on the people?
This anvil. No, I'm just playing.
Oh, man. What you got, man?
Nothing. I was just playing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, Ronnie's for loss of words, man. That's not like Ronnie.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, this is the lively art of conversation where we live, we learn, we earn, we pass along. I've been here with Ronnie Russell, one each. Ronnie, if you don't know Ronnie, I'm pretty sure everybody knows Ronnie. I mean, I think his name is out there more than my name, because he's out in them streets, man. He's out in them streets, man. He got that street cred, man. So I'm locked behind doors and stuff, So, but Ronnie's out doing wonderful work, man. And I'll say this with all sincerity: appreciate the work that you're doing. Continue the work that you're doing. I had Babatunde on prior to this, and Babatunde means the Father has returned, and we're little fathers that's returning back to our community. It's more important for our community to have this male presence. Nothing against females, but we need a male presence, because a male is a foundation which women erect a house on. So don't you ever forget that. You're not the head of the home. You're the foundation which women stand on and build a house on. So with that being said, Ronnie, thank you for being here with this show. I really appreciate it. Thank God you're doing the work that you're doing, because it's much needed. And for you guys that want to be a part of anything that we have going on at the Lively Art of Conversation, I want you to keep in mind we have underwriter spots that are open. Just reach out to me, livelyartofconversation@gmail. If you want to add livelyartofconversation@gmail, or if there's something that's going on in the community, get with me as soon as you can, so that way we can try to put you on the show. So this is Men's Health Month. Now, I don't want you guys to forget this. So next week, we have my boy, Dr. Michael Williams. He's going to come on, and he's going to talk about men's health, and he's going to talk about the importance of PMCS. That's right. Men, it's time for that overhaul, all right? It is time for that overhaul. It's time for us to put ourselves first, so that way we can see our kids graduate. We can walk our daughters down the aisle. We can be there when our sons get that first promotion in life or have that first child. It is time for us to put ourselves first. So men's health is paramount to you guys. So we see you next week on Lively Art of Conversation, where we live, we learn, we earn. My goodness, we pass it along.